What if the biggest secret in human history wasn't locked away in some high-tech vault? What if it was hiding in plain sight, tucked away in a bunch of ordinary office binders? Well, today, we're going to crack open one of the most extensive collections of alleged UFO crash retrieval accounts ever put together, the Stringfield files.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. On the surface, yeah, they're just binders. You'd see them in any office and not think twice. But according to the material we're digging into, what's inside is, well, it's pretty wild. This is the life's work of one man, a meticulously documented archive of alleged government conspiracies, recovered alien craft, and eyewitnesses who apparently risked everything to tell their stories.
To really get a handle on the files, you have to understand the man who made them. So who was this guy? And what on earth drove him to spend his entire life chasing what he called retrievals of the third kind?
So, Leonard Stringfield wasn't just some casual hobbyist. His background as a World War II Air Force vet and a counterintelligence officer gave him a pretty unique perspective. His own sighting during the war of a so-called Foo fighter, those weird lights Allied pilots kept seeing, that just lit a fire in him that never went out. He became a true pioneer in the field and even came up with the term that defines it, UFO crash/retrieval.
And this right here gets to the absolute heart of how he operated. Stringfield's collection is almost entirely built on testimony from sources he kept anonymous. Now, that move frustrated a lot of people, but to his supporters, it was proof of his integrity. We're talking about alleged stories from generals, astronauts, Pentagon officials, and scientists working in top-secret labs.
All right, so let's get into the good stuff, the cases themselves. The files are just jam-packed with them. But one of the most detailed is the supposed crash near Kingman, Arizona, back in '53. It really reads like a blueprint for how a secret recovery operation would go down.
The story starts like something right out of a spy movie. You've got a group of scientists and specialists, and they're all herded onto this military bus. The weird part? The windows are completely taped over. They have no clue where they're going, just that it's a 4-hour ride deep into the desert.
So the cover story was that they were going to look at a downed experimental Air Force plane. But according to the account Stringfield got, when they finally arrived under the cover of total darkness, what they found was something else entirely.
And this gives you an idea of just how difficult this whole alleged operation was. I mean, getting the craft out of the desert was one thing, but the biggest problem was the Colorado River. See, driving a massive tank transporter carrying a flying saucer right over the Hoover Dam, yeah, that was not going to happen. So they came up with a really risky plan, use a barge, at night. But of course, the operation did not go smoothly. This quote from the files just captures the pure chaos. A guide cable supposedly snapped, and the barge just went floating down the river until it literally collided with the dam itself. It's an incredible detail in an already unbelievable story.
And the cases just keep on coming. The files don't just lay out these retrieval ops, they've also got these really personal accounts from people who supposedly got right up close to the technology. This next one comes from a U.S. Marine.
So this testimony, it's from a source they just call RB. He claims he guarded a 40-foot disc-shaped craft inside a secure hangar. He said it was made of this polished, kind of aluminum-like metal and was totally seamless. And these drawings here are based on his super detailed description.
For 2 solid weeks, RB says he just watched this technical crew try absolutely everything to get inside. Cutting torches? The metal got hot, but it didn't even leave a mark. Drills were completely useless. They even brought in a high-powered laser, which he said just bounced right off the hull and shot up into the rafters. This quote from RB really drives home just how alien this object he described was. He said the seams on the hatch were so perfect, so tight, you couldn't get a razor blade in the crack.
But look, this collection isn't all about anonymous insiders and shady figures. Stringfield was also an obsessive collector of public statements from really credible people that seemed to add some serious weight to these crazy claims. Just take this moment from 1978. Mercury 7 astronaut Gordon Cooper is on national TV. The host asks him straight up about a rumor of a crashed spaceship with bodies. He doesn't laugh it off. He says, "I think it's fairly credible." For believers, a statement like that, from a man who's actually been to space, that was absolutely huge. So when you kind of zoom out from all these individual cases, a much bigger picture starts to come into focus. The central theme, the thing that ties all of the Stringfield files together, is this idea of a massive, coordinated, and still ongoing cover-up.
Right, so the source material doesn't treat these as just isolated, random events. It connects the dots,
suggesting this sprawling conspiracy involving multiple branches of the government, the military, and even private industry, all supposedly working together to keep all of us in the dark. And the sheer scale of the alleged conspiracy is just staggering. I mean, look at this list. It was put together from one of Stringfield's sources. It names everyone from the CIA and NASA to top-tier universities like MIT and Stanford, all supposedly part of a secret network studying this retrieve technology.
And according to one account in the files, the order for total secrecy came from the very, very top. After supposedly being shown a recovered craft and its occupants, President Eisenhower's furious command was simple and absolute. No one single word is to reach the public.
So, after decades of all this compiled testimony, what are we left with? What is the real legacy of this collection? And where does it fit into how we think about the UFO phenomenon today?
Leonard Stringfield himself passed away back in 1994. He left behind this whole collection, a lifetime of work just filled with these detailed, dramatic, and really compelling stories. But at the end of the day, that's what they remain, stories. Extraordinary, but ultimately unverified claims.
And yet, you cannot deny their influence. The Stringfield collection is a foundational text in the world of ufology. For those who believe, it's not just a set of interesting tales, it's the detailed blueprint of the biggest secret that's ever been kept.
Which, of course, brings us to the final question we have to ask. Are these files the work of a dedicated historian who is carefully documenting a reality that's been hidden from all of us? Or is this the work of a master collector who assembled one of the most elaborate and detailed archives of modern American folklore ever created? Well, that's for you to decide.